All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are going deep on Dave Berkus and Berkonomics, his unique perspective on business and investing.
His perspective.
We've got a ton of sources right here from his website.
Yeah?
And let me tell you, this guy has got a story.
What jumps out right away is just how long he's been at it.
Yeah.
Like over 50 years in the world of entrepreneurs,
50 years!
starting way back in entertainment and software.
Wow.
Like, imagine what that world was like back then.
Oh, my God.
Pre-internet, pre-PC as we know it.
Makes you wonder what kind of businesses he's even involved in back then. Was he like cutting records or coding on punch cards? I don't even know.
Who knows?
But what I find really fascinating is that he transitioned from building companies himself to becoming this venture capitalist, focusing on early stage companies.
That's a heck of a journey.
Yeah.
You know, it speaks to a deep understanding of both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
He's been in the trenches as an entrepreneur, battling it out to get a new idea off the ground.
Yeah.
Battling.
And now he's on the other side, assessing potential, guiding those who are just starting out. That dual perspective is invaluable.
Okay, so we've established Dave Berkus has serious experience.
Oh, yeah.
But let's get to the heart of it.
Yeah.
Berkonomics. Catchy, sure.
Right.
But what's it all about?
Oh.
His website tagline is empowering entrepreneurs, inspiring leaders. It hints at a people-centric approach. But there's got to be more to it than that, right?
Well, if you look at the term itself, Berkonomics, it suggests that he's taken his decades of experience and distilled them into a system.
A system.
It's not just traditional economics or business theory. It's his framework for success, shaped by his unique path.
Maybe it's his emphasis on mentorship and guidance, not just funding.
Yeah.
We see that in the testimonials on his website.
Yeah.
People calling him a rock star, praising his communication style.
Some even describe him as free from ego.
Wow.
Which is honestly refreshing to hear.
Absolutely.
Especially in the world of high-stakes investing.
Yeah.
But let's move beyond the praise.
Right.
Let's look at what he's actually putting out there.
Okay.
His blog, also called Berkonomics, seems to be a treasure trove of advice for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
The titles alone are intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, take this one. How little information can you give to investors' lenders?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's almost counterintuitive.
Right.
Wouldn't you want to share everything to get them excited?
You'd think.
It suggests a level of strategic thinking.
Yeah.
Like there's a fine art to revealing just enough to pique their interest without giving away the farm.
Right.
I'm hooked already.
Okay.
And then there's warnings about investor limitations. It sounds like he's got some insider tips to help entrepreneurs navigate the world of funding.
Yeah, he's seen the pitfalls firsthand.
Yeah.
Wants to equip others with the knowledge to avoid them.
It's like he's saying, choose your allies wisely.
Exactly.
So we've got this veteran entrepreneur turned venture capitalist who's developed this own system for success.
Yeah.
And who seems genuinely dedicated to sharing that knowledge with others.
It's great.
I'm starting to see why he's become such a respected figure in the business world.
We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
To really understand Berkonomics, we need to go deeper.
Deeper.
Explore the nuances of his thinking and see how his framework translates to the real world.
And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay.
But before we dive into those blog posts,
Yeah.
there's one key piece of the Berkonomics puzzle.
What's that?
The famous Berkus method for evaluating businesses. Ready to tackle that next.
Let's unpack it. I'm curious how it compares to other valuation models.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's break down this Berkus method.
Yeah.
It's his framework for valuing early stage companies.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've read, it's less about complex financial projections and more about assessing like the foundational elements of a business idea.
That's interesting because most valuation methods I've seen tend to get bogged down in spreadsheets.
Right.
And like hypothetical growth curves.
Yeah.
But Berkus seems to be taking a more qualitative approach.
Exactly.
Focusing on 5 key criteria.
Yeah.
Sound idea, prototype, quality management team, strategic relationships, and product rollout or sales.
It's almost like he's saying, let's strip away all the fancy jargon and get to the core of what makes a business viable.
Yeah.
He's assessing the raw potential, the building blocks of success.
The building blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's walk through those criteria.
Okay.
Sound idea seems pretty straightforward. Is he just talking about whether the business solves a real problem?
It goes deeper than that. Berkus emphasizes that a truly sound idea needs a substantial market need behind it.
Yeah.
It's not enough to solve a problem for a handful of people.
Right.
It has to resonate with a sizable audience.
Right. So it's about identifying a problem that enough people are facing
Yeah,
and are willing to pay for a solution.
absolutely.
But there's also the element of competition,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
A sound idea also needs a clear competitive advantage.
Exactly. What makes this solution unique? Why would customers choose it over what's already out there?
So it's about differentiation
Yeah,
and carving out space in the market.
totally.
The next criterion, prototype, seems to emphasize action over theory.
Yeah,
It's about moving beyond just the idea stage
right.
and actually showing that the concept can work in practice.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, like market ready.
Yeah.
Berkus acknowledges that in the early stages,
Yeah.
a minimum viable product, an MVP, can be enough to showcase the core functionality and gather valuable feedback.
Gather that feedback.
Yeah, it's about validating the idea with something tangible.
It's like he's saying, don't just talk about it, build it.
Right.
Which brings us to quality management team.
Yeah.
It seems kind of obvious that a successful business needs a strong team,
Mm-hmm.
but what specific qualities is Berkus looking for?
He emphasizes experience, skills, and most importantly, passion.
Passion.
Yeah, it's not just about assembling a group of smart people.
Right.
It's about finding those with the right expertise
Yeah.
and a shared drive to succeed.
It makes you wonder, how does he assess passion during an evaluation? Is it something you can really quantify?
Yeah.
Or is it more of a gut feeling?
I imagine it's a combination, how they
Yeah.
talk about the project, their willingness to go the extra mile, the energy they bring. Berkes has been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
He's probably got an intuition for spotting that entrepreneurial fire.
The next criterion, strategic relationships. That one really stood out to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It seems like Berkus is acknowledging that even the best ideas need support from others
Right.
to really flourish.
Having those strong strategic relationships
Yeah.
can be a total game changer for a young company.
Right.
They can get access to resources, expertise, distribution channels, even credibility that would be so hard to build on their own.
So it's about recognizing that you don't have to go it alone.
Right.
Partnerships, collaborations, mentorships.
Yeah,
These are all valuable assets.
absolutely.
The final criterion, product rollout or sales, seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It's about showing there's demand
Real demand.
and that the business can bring in revenue.
You got to prove that people are willing to pay for what you're offering.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting about the Berkus method
Yeah.
is how he quantifies these qualitative criteria.
Right.
Each one is assigned a maximum value of $500,000.
Wow.
So the most a startup could be valued at using this method is $2.5 million.
That's a fascinating approach.
It is.
It forces both the investors and entrepreneurs to be realistic
Realistic.
about the potential of a young company,
Right.
even if the idea sounds revolutionary.
Yeah. It's a reminder that early stage businesses are inherently risky.
Oh, yeah.
You're betting on potential, not proven track records.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm curious, does Berkus himself
Yeah.
still strictly adhere to this method when evaluating potential investments?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We don't have specific insights into his current process,
Right.
but it's likely he still considers these core principles,
Right.
even if his approach has evolved.
It makes sense. It's like a mental checklist, making sure he's not getting swept up in the hype
Yeah.
or overlooking any potential weaknesses.
Right. It's a framework for smart decision-making in a world often driven by gut feeling and market trends.
Speaking of informed decisions, remember those blog post titles we discussed?
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if those posts might offer insights into how he applies these principles in practice.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Let's take how little information can you give to investors, lenders, for example.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's about finding that balance between transparency
Right.
and protecting your intellectual property,
Right.
which could fall under that sound idea criterion.
Maybe it's a strategy for gauging investor interest without revealing too much too soon, so the idea stays protected,
Yeah.
but you're still showcasing its potential.
Right.
And warnings about investor limitations.
Yeah.
That could tie into strategic relationships.
It could be about choosing investors who are aligned with your company's vision and values. Right. Not just taking money from anyone who offers it.
It's not just about getting the funding.
No.
It's about getting the right funding
A right
from
function.
partners who understand your goals.
Absolutely.
It seems to be a recurring theme in Berkus's thinking.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, choose your allies wisely.
Listen wisely.
These blog posts offer a glimpse into his decision-making process.
Yeah.
Not just for evaluating businesses, but for building those lasting beneficial relationships.
It's interesting to see how these simple criteria connect to a broader way of thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered Dave Berkus's background, his approach to business and investing, his method for evaluating companies. What's next on our deep dive?
Well, I'm really interested to dig into the blog posts themselves.
Yeah.
I'm particularly drawn to warnings about investor limitations.
I'm with you.
Let's do it.
Let's crack it open and see what nuggets of wisdom we can find.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into this blog post, Warnings About Investor Limitations.
Yeah.
The title itself is a little ominous, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like he's about to unveil some dark secret of the investment world.
Right. It definitely makes you curious.
Sure.
It suggests there's more to it than just, finding someone with a lot of money.
Right.
It's about finding the right investors.
Right. Right. Like he's saying, be careful who you invite into your inner circle.
Yeah, be careful.
So let's put on our detective hats here for a second.
Okay.
If we were sitting down with Dave Berkus and asking him to elaborate on these investor limitations,
right,
what kind of warnings do you think he would share?
Knowing his background.
Yeah.
And the emphasis he places on long-term value.
Right.
I bet one of the first things he'd warn against is partnering with investors who are all about quick profits over sustainable growth.
Ah, the classic short-sighted approach.
Exactly.
They just want to cash out quickly.
Get that quick return.
Potentially pushing the company to make decisions that could hurt it in the long run.
Right. It's like squeezing all the juice out of an orange without planting any new seeds.
Ooh, I like that.
A burst of sweetness now?
Yeah.
But you're sacrificing future harvests.
Makes you wonder, how can entrepreneurs spot these short-term profit seekers?
Yeah.
Are there any red flags during those early conversations?
I think it comes down to asking the right questions.
Right.
Don't be afraid to probe their motivations, their understanding of your industry, their expectations for a timeline.
Right.
If they're laser focused on quick returns and exit strategies, that could be a sign.
A sign.
That their vision doesn't align with yours.
It's like dating. You want to make sure you're compatible on the fundamentals.
Absolutely, good analogy.
Before making any long-term commitment.
And just like in dating, communication is key.
Yeah.
I think Berkus might also warn about investors who try to, exert too much control or impose their own ideas on the business.
The dreaded micromanager.
Right, their backseat driving your company.
Grabbing the wheel.
Exactly. And while some guidance can be helpful,
yeah, of course,
entrepreneurs need investors who trust their ability to execute the plan.
Trust.
Yeah, offering support without stifling that creativity and innovation.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Finding that sweet spot.
Between mentorship and overreach. Another warning might be about investors who don't have the right experience.
Oh, yeah?
Or connections in the industry.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because while money is important, an investor who brings that industry knowledge, the network, the potential partnerships, that's invaluable.
They become more than just a check writer.
Right.
They become a strategic ally.
Like a seasoned guide.
Yeah.
Leading you through uncharted territory.
They've seen it all before.
They've been there.
Can help you avoid those pitfalls.
Speaking of pitfalls,
I
bet Berkus would also say, don't forget to do your due diligence
yes.
on your potential investors.
Right, turn the tables.
Flip the script.
Don't just take an offer at face value.
Exactly. Do your research.
Understand their track record.
Talk to other entrepreneurs they've worked with.
Yeah.
Get a sense of their style.
Protect yourself.
Make sure you're entering into a partnership with someone who's on the same page.
Yeah, who shares your values, is committed to your success. This is all such great advice.
It is.
It's like a playbook.
Yeah.
For navigating the world of fundraising.
It all comes back to those core principles.
Right.
Sound ideas, strong teams, strategic relationships.
It all connects.
Berkus isn't just talking theory. He's giving real-world tools to help entrepreneurs build a solid foundation.
Okay, we've talked about the potential investor limitations.
Yeah.
But let's flip the coin.
Okay.
What should entrepreneurs look for in an ideal investor?
Well, based on what we've discussed,
Yeah.
It seems like the ideal investor would be someone who shares your vision, trusts your ability to make it happen, prioritizes sustainable growth over those quick wins, and brings valuable experience and connections to the table.
That sounds like the investor unicorn.
It does.
But it's a good reminder.
It is.
That finding the right partners is key.
So important.
It's not just about funding a business.
No.
It's about investing in a vision.
A team.
A few.
Exactly. And that's what makes Dave Berkus's perspective so valuable.
Yeah.
He's not just about the bottom line.
Right.
He's about fostering success, strong relationships,
Empowering entrepreneurs.
empowering them to make a real impact.
This has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
We've explored Dave Berkus's journey.
Yeah.
His unique approach to business.
Investing.
His famous evaluation method.
And his insights on investors.
And now his insights on investors.
Lots of good stuff.
And we've only scratched the surface.
There's so much more to uncover on his website and in his blog posts.
I'm definitely inspired to learn more about Berkonomics.
Me too.
It's a good reminder that success isn't just about having a great idea.
Right.
It's about smart decisions, strong relationships.
And navigating that complex business world with wisdom and foresight.
I love that. Well said.
For our listeners out there, I think a good takeaway would be to ask yourself, what are your non-negotiables?
Your non-negotiables.
When it comes to choosing a business partner.
That's a great question to think about.
Whether it's an investor, a co-founder, a key advisor.
That's a great question to ponder.
It is.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Dave Berkus and Berkonomics.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
and keep pushing
those boundaries.